Hi everyone, my name is Alex Caron. I'm an assistant professor of pharmacy at Laval University, and I hold the Canada Research Chair in NeuroMetabolic Pharmacology. My lab is located at the Quebec Heart and Lung Institute, or IUCPQ, and I'm also affiliated with the Montreal Diabetes Research Center. So it may sound quite nerdy, but during my undergrad studies in medical biology, I really became fascinated by the neuroendocrine axis and how sophisticated the brain was to control different hormones that will influence our ability to respond to dangers and to our environment in general. And I still remember this lecture I attended. I can't even remember who the speaker was, but I remember that he showed this amazing experiment from Doug Coleman in the 60s, who, by the way, was a Canadian, where he surgically connected obese to lean mice, a technique called parabiosis, and was able to predict that one of the obese mouse had a defect in a hormone, whereas the other had a defect in the receptor for this hormone, which years later led to the discovery of leptin. And so this is really how I became excited about the idea of potentially being able to also make scientific discoveries myself. And I ended up doing an internship in Dr. Denny Richard's lab at IUCPQ. And one of the reasons was that he had published a few papers on leptin, but unfortunately, he didn't really have any leptin-related project at that time. But anyway, I started working on the brain control of metabolism, and I feel like all I did during this internship was cutting slices of brain all summer. But I will do that with this brain atlas next to me, trying to learn the anatomy and being quite fascinated by the overwhelming number of structures that the brain has. And so by the end of this internship, I started a master in physiology and endocrinology in Denny's lab, working on this protein that was just discovered about a year before by a team at MIT. And I was fortunate enough that one of the scientists behind the discovery of this protein named DEPTOR was just being recruited as an assistant professor at Laval University. And this was Dr. Mathieu Laplante, who actually became my co-supervisor for my PhD. And so this was an exciting time because no one had ever looked at DEPTOR in the brain. So we mapped its expression, and Matt had just developed these unique transgenic mouse models that will allow us to interrogate the function of this protein in controlling energy and glucose metabolism. And so since I didn't have a chance to work on leptin for all these years, I decided to go in Dr. Joel Elmquist's lab at the University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas. And the reason was that Joel had contributed so much to the current knowledge on how leptin works in the brain to control energy and glucose metabolism. And I should actually mention that I didn't really plan to move to this very red state that is Texas, but well, because my English wasn't great and I didn't really want to leave Canada, but this was a very good choice and a great opportunity to kind of bloom as a scientist. And I actually did work on leptin, but also started to be interested in understanding how the brain communicates with peripheral organs. And so during that time, I was successful in securing very competitive scholarships and grants, which allowed me to spend my last year in Dallas working with Dr. Sean Burgess. And so my plans were to stay with Sean and to learn from his team for at least 2 years, but then opportunities happened and I decided to leave UT Southwestern to start my lab here in Quebec. And so I've been very fortunate to have 4 amazing mentors that believed in me and that gave me a lot of freedom and support. And what is the most impressive about them is that even though they were all at different stages in their career, like Denny and Joel were more established, whereas Sean was more mid-career scientist and Matt was just starting his career, they all had this excitement about doing science, and they will all put their trainees first and take great pride about my success, probably even more than theirs. And also, despite their very busy schedule, they will always find time to discuss and to help me with and the other students and postdoc to move forward to the next step. So I really hope that I am and will keep being this kind of mentor myself with my trainees. So if I can give you any advice, the only one is believe in yourself, trust your instinct, be yourself and have fun doing what you do. Also be open-minded about critiques. Take them as learning opportunities. Science is really like, I would say, riding a roller coaster with a lot of ups and downs, with way more downs than ups. But despite these many obstacles, whether they are not being awarded a scholarships or a grant, having a paper rejected, or having a project scooped, it's important to always enjoy the good times and to focus on the positive and more obviously to have fun. And of course, these advices are based on my experience in the academic world, but I believe that they can be applied to whatever path you will decide to take, whether it's going to the industry, towards governmental positions, or so on. And for those of you who will decide to follow the same kind of academic path I had, I have to say that whatever how well prepared you are to become a scientist, always keep in mind that you're never going to be prepared enough to face the weight of bureaucracy. This has been the hardest bit for me, and it actually at some point distracted me from having fun. So I will just end by saying that being a scientist is the best job in the world. So make sure you keep having fun doing it. Fun is really the key word. And so with that, do not hesitate to contact me if you have any questions or comments, and thanks for watching this video.